If you tell him to turn that off, I will talk to you a little more free.
On August 27th, 80-year-old Edna leaves her home in Travelers Rest to look after a friend. Hours later, 911 dispatchers receive a concerning call. Officers arrived at Edna Suttles' home for a welfare check. Based on these reports, they received no response. There were no signs of a break-in, and Edna was nowhere to be seen. However, when police asked Edna's son, he pointed out that $50,000 worth of jewelry was missing from the home. More importantly, though, her car was missing too. Immediately, a hunt for Edna's car began, and 6 days later, it was found abandoned in the parking lot of a hotel in Travelers Rest. This was odd, as Edna lived close by and didn't need to stay at a hotel. A check with the staff also revealed that no one under the name of Edna was staying there. So to get to the bottom of this mystery, the cops decided to try and trace back Edna's movement using CCTV cameras starting from her home. At 9:30 a.m., a camera at a nearby pawn shop captures Edna leaving her home and driving towards a local Food Lion grocery store. 9 minutes later, Edna arrives at the store to pick something up. A man approaches the vehicle with 2 bags in his hand and sits alongside Edna, who then drives off back to her home. 4 hours later, at 1:43 p.m., Edna's car leaves her home again and arrives at the same Food Lion once more. But this time, the person exiting the driver's seat isn't Edna at all. It's the same old white man she picked up earlier, who immediately moves to his car and parks it next to Edna's. He then drags something out of her car, placing it into his. Initially, it was difficult to identify what the man moved from the Jeep to the Chevrolet, but after a frame-by-frame analysis, it wasn't a question of what was moved, but who. Because in a chilling discovery, officers would realize the footage showed the unmistakable golden hair of Edna Suttles. 4 minutes later, at 1:47 p.m., the man drives Edna's car into the hotel's parking lot and parks it in the same spot that the detectives found the vehicle in. He exits and begins wiping down the door and seats, trying to get rid of any evidence of his presence. Detectives had an idea. Since the man exited the store with bags in his hand, a purchase was made, and this realization would be the most crucial breakthrough in the case. Immediately, officers began retrieving footage from inside the store, and when they reviewed it, they came to a harrowing realization. This was Daniel Printz, a man who only 24 years prior to this got put in a federal prison for kidnapping. 24 years prior to this incident, in 1997, Daniel was responsible for the kidnapping of a woman in Michigan. He was sentenced to a maximum of 30 years for this crime, but the worst was yet to come. Daniel began working as a handyman for predominantly elderly single ladies, a demographic that not only matched his previous victim, but also that of Edna's. Even with this disturbing past, detectives didn't have enough evidence to press strong charges for kidnapping or murder. However, they had established probable cause for grand larceny involving Edna's Jeep. A warrant to arrest Printz and search his property was granted, and officers were quickly dispatched.
Totally cooperative, just relax. Not doing anything, not cooperate. Sir, I will be very cooperative.
What do you do now? I do a lot of home remodeling, home repairs. I lay a lot of tile, and I got a customer base that has me doing stuff.
Okay, so why Boston, North Carolina, come all the way down from, say, Michigan or Wisconsin?
Okay.
What'd you get locked up for? Because you said you got paroled.
I was locked up for a kidnapping charge.
Okay.
And I did 13 and a half years for that. The kidnapping, I was doing some bad shit that I shouldn't have been doing, but I shouldn't have gotten kidnapping, but I was doing some bad shit.
What kind of shit? What shit have you gotten?
He's going to try and deny his guilt, even when the evidence speaks for itself.
What you're telling us is that's not you on the 27th? Food Line parking lot, Travelers Rest?
I don't think so.
That's not you.
That's me. Where's that?
Food Line.
Detectives have seen the whole thing on camera, and it completely contradicts everything Printz is saying.
What were you driving? I was driving a blue car.
Your wife's car or your car?
My wife's car.
So that's y'all coming down 25, you and her together?
It could be.
Okay, because that's their car. That's about 13:45 on the 27th.
Okay.
So you're with her there?
Yeah.
Okay. You're not a bad guy.
Right.
Nobody is saying that you're some evil, twisted dude.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? We need to know where it is. We've processed the car. We found the dirt. Where did you go off-road? Where did you leave?
Oh, I can tell you exactly where she and I had gone off-road, please. When we were going from 25 south, there was, off to the right, there was a truck with a trailer and another vehicle there that had a for sale sign on it. And it looked like an older truck, and I needed a work truck. And I went ahead and I pulled in and with her, and then we pulled out. And it was right there on 25.
Please listen. You did not drop her off at her house. We have followed that car the entire day up and down 25.
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of minutes that are unaccounted for that are not by her house.
Which car? Mine or hers?
Dan, stop playing games. You know what?
Okay, I can help you here.
Okay.
You gotta give me a second. You gotta let me answer the questions when they're asked. Right, that's why she said she hired another PI. I'm sure you're recording this.
It's not making sense of it. You're the last person to be in a vehicle you wiped out of a lady that's missing.
That sounds really fucked up.
It does. That's why we're here.
When detectives search Prince's property, they find several automatic weapons. Because of his previous convictions, he's forbidden from owning any firearms. That means he could be facing a federal charge and be detained for even longer. While he's detained, they continue to search his land and find one of the most crucial pieces of evidence yet, a yogurt cup. This is the yogurt he bought shortly before Edna disappeared, and it's laced with a cocktail of drugs. Lorazepam, tramadol, and cyclobenzaprine can cause central nervous system depression when they're combined. When this happens, the body's neurological functions slow down. In other words, you're under sedation, exactly as Edna was in the parking lot when she was seen in Prince's car. Prince begins to realize he's cornered and has nowhere to run, so they bring him back in for more questioning, where he makes a full confession as he admits to 3 more murders, including those of Lee Goodman, Dolores Sellers, and her daughter, Nancy Rigo, putting her directly in the crosshairs of Daniel Printz, a mentally disturbed serial killer. And finally, Daniel's 4th and final victim was Edna Suttles, whose body would be found 1 year later on May 16, 2022, in a grave close to Daniel's home in Rutherford County. Although decomposed, officers were able to positively identify it as Edna and return the body to her loved ones. But even in the face of his crimes, he would never let go of his chance to leverage as much information as he could.
There was quite a lot of stuff found in your B house. There could be a million explanations for some of that stuff, and I don't want to jump to conclusions. And if there's something that happened that you didn't intend to happen, let's talk about it.
There are things that have to happen, and there are things that are going to happen. And I'm a realist, and I have acceptance with this. I would like a little bit of control in how they happen. If you tell them to turn that off, I will talk to you a little more freely.
When they turn the cameras off, Prince makes a final attempt to take control and influence the outcome in his favor. Daniel Printz avoided a trial by making a deal with authorities. He would tell them about the location of Edna's body, and in turn, his case would go federal because of the better living conditions in federal prisons. Not only that, but he would also avoid the death penalty and instead receive a life sentence. One would think that the detectives were naive to turn off their cameras and not record Daniel's confession, but unbeknownst to Printz, the investigators keep the backup audio recording running after shutting down the camera. This is the chilling confession he made.
Okay, let's put it this way. A person I was very good friends with wanted to do something to put someone basically out of their misery that was very closely related to them. That's one body. That person started having an extreme amount of guilt over this and decided they were going to go tell what had happened. That's the second body. There's a third body that I did not kill, and I knew that they'd be getting Social Security disability for the rest of their life. So I got rid of said bodies, for example, so that I could continue to use the car.
By any chance, while he's getting all this squared away, can you just help me get that closure for Edna's family?
Not until I have this. I clam up like a clam if this doesn't go federal for everything.